Hello and welcome to our very first interview here at Anime Los Angeles 2024. I am your host, Crystal, and with me today is special guest of honor, Kaho Shibuya. So we haven't seen each other since last ALA, correct?
Oh, was it ALA?
Yeah, I think you signed the Japanese version of your book, which is today's topic, your book in general. But it's been, around 5 years since our last interview?
Really? Has it been that long?
Yes, I believe our last interview was in, Anime Los Angeles 2019?
Was that? Oh my god, I saw you, you came by my booth, but it was just to purchase something.
And you were cosplaying, that was it?
Oh, I'm gonna go for the interview, but no, even after that, you came by my booth and
a year ago, yes.
Then hello, just for hello.
Yeah, that was a year ago.
Oh, yes.
It was a year ago. How you been since then, though?
It's been great. I've been able to just like what I wanted back in the interview. I think I said I want to go to more conventions and I want to go to a more different state too. And COVID happened, so it became difficult. But then everything's back on. Now I get to go to more cons, different cities. So.
How's it exploring the U.S. basically? Because I'm sure you've attended other conventions outside Los Angeles, outside California. How's it been exploring the United States?
I really like convention scenes in U.S. In Japan, we have events, but it's more commercial event, more industry. I can really find event for fans or by fans, from fans and for fans, especially Anime Los Angeles. It's very homey. You see the same faces, not just fans, not just attendees, but also staff members. You see familiar faces, so it really feels like home.
Yes, it does feel like home. And I was telling one of my press colleagues earlier that I always attend Anime Los Angeles.
Oh, yeah?
No matter what. I've been attending Anime Los Angeles, believe it or not, since I was a little kid.
Really?
12 years old.
Wow, I didn't know.
Because this convention used to be held at the LAX hotel.
Oh, right.
Yeah, and there it was amazing. It was an amazing time. But long story
when you interviewed me, that was still in Ontario, right?
Yeah. But long story short, this convention is always, like you said, it's very homey. You always see the same people, familiar faces. It's just an overall wholesome convention to go to. And also the beginning of the year. What better way to celebrate than an anime convention, right?
I know.
Winding back to our second interview, you had mentioned in that interview that you had you've been wanting to publish a book, and having the goal to also publish it in English. Yes. Now this is a milestone that you have achieved. So congratulations on that.
Thank you for remembering that, and thank you for getting my book.
Yes, as you can see, I got your book right here. It's been through a lot, so I do apologize about the cover.
No. It looks like you have actually read,
Yes, I have. Yes. As requested, we will not talk about the contents of the book as much as about the book itself, but have some questions about the book, actually. First and foremost, the cover in the Japanese version of the book, there's a nice picture of you in a business casual attire.
Yes.
And in the English version, there's you cosplaying.
Yes. Well, it's cosplaying. It's oiran. It's not character cosplay. Oiran is with a professional kind of prostitute at the time, a long time ago in Japan. And I just visually, it looks very Japanese, and also it also looks kind of seductive, sexy. And because I get the professional prostitute kind of, fit the image. So that was actually my idea to what do I have this for the cover for English book? And it looks so different from Japanese book because Japanese book wanted to bring it more educational. This is also educational, but in Japan, everyone know the topic is, but in English, what is that? I guess that's the first thing. Not everyone is aware of Japanese culture, or it's subculture. I guess we need to explain that in a strong word PORN, something like that. Not JV, because not everyone knows what's jab, right?
No. And it'd be awkward to explain it in some situations. I understand that.
So I thought it'd be more easier to figure it out from the cover.
Another difference that I've noticed in the Japanese book and the English one is that the Japanese version has pictures, screenshots, or photos of forms granted in Japanese.
Yes.
The English one only features the text from those forms. Why was that?
That was editorial decision. It was not really, I was kind of expecting to see all the chart. I actually shared all the charts and forms, but because it's all in Japanese, and if you translate that, it's going to be just words, and maybe editors thought it's not that interesting. Or some of the pictures we use were like my column in Japanese. So why would you just, I guess, didn't want to put that because people cannot read it?
Oh, so it was more like, what's the point? Might as well just it translate the text. And
probably, yeah. I was kind of expecting to see more chart, to be honest. But yeah, we as an editor and / translator, we had some difficulties like to go over like, in the process of translation. And like at some point, I even like told my manager like, hey, I do not like this editor / translator. Like I do not like this person. Like I don't know like his guts. Like I was like, I didn't tell him in person. Like, I was like, so like, can you just like, well, I definitely needed a liaison like manager, like somebody. Otherwise, I guess I didn't think communication was going to be good. So we had this communication issue anyway. So we had other things to worry about besides those like, small details. Initially, the editor suggested like, oh, I like that fact. I think he thought it was amusing that even sometimes there's like a fake pubic hair, like a wig. Like, oh, I want to like find a chart or something like that. And he was being playful, but because in the process of translation, like I had issues, I actually shared some concern that it didn't sound anything like me.
You were afraid that it would get lost in translation.
Yes, basically. Or it's just the atmosphere. Like, I think the words choices were a little bit too flamboyant or kind of. He wanted to use F word a lot for sexual intercourse, and I use F word sometimes, but out of expression, like oh fuck that, or I'm not gonna say like oh I fucked him, like I don't do that, I don't talk like that. So I was like, can you just not? But he wanted me to sound like that. I guess that's how typical porn actress talks. I guess so,
a little vulgar. Yes.
Yeah. But I was like, but I have retired and that's the reason why I'm writing this. And can I just tone back? And then he started saying like, because he knows I go to anime conventions and I like cosplay and like, oh, if you gonna talk like anime princess, like with your like high anime voice and it's not gonna sound, no one's gonna take you seriously. And I was like, okay, that's very rude. And like, I was like, fuck that. That's why I use the F word.
That's when you really used it.
So it was definitely getting difficult. But I think we could deliver the core of the entire topic. Yes, like, I guess we could deliver the message.
Would you say, are you happy with the translation, the way it came out in English?
Definitely.
The final.
I was just concerned about it. Was just personal to me. Like, oh, I don't sound like that. I don't talk like that. But yeah, if no one knows about me, like if somebody just said, oh, Japanese porn is kind of interesting, then like who is Kaho Shibuya, then they don't really have to care about that. It's a little more personal thing for me. So I think it shouldn't matter that much.
With that being said, what was the most difficult thing about publishing the English version as opposed to the Japanese? Well, let's start off with the Japanese. What was the most difficult part about publishing your Japanese version of the book?
It was definitely finding the balance of, like, I didn't want the book to be too much like expose. I was not trying to like, hey, this is the truth behind everything, or like I'm going to share the dark secret of the industry. Like I'm nothing like that. It just sounded a little bit like I didn't want to sound sass, or I didn't want to come across as like a two-faced person. But at the same time, I want to talk about the truth. When you're in the industry, of course, you have to protect the fantasy, and especially towards fans. Like you don't want to break their fantasies. So like, can I say this? Can I say that? And I was trying to find the balance. So initially, I thought I was gonna focus on a male audience or fans of JV. But then, editor in Japan said, like, oh, I want you to kind of write more like with feminism a little bit, more like for women. Like, okay, for women, then I had to kind of dial back and change the tone because it's more about if you're interested in joining the industry or if like it's going to be more serious or personal to some people. And I was like, okay, I have to share the truth. I have to let them know what's be awaiting, like if you're actually trying to get in. You don't know what's going to happen, right? So there is no way of learning how the industry works. It's other like a normal job, I guess. You have like a seminar, like you have, well, in Japan at least, like there is a seminar for yeah, right, all the jobs, and like if you're interested in media, and like please listen to our like lecture. There's always a PR person like pitching, and you can find your like a senpai, like OB or OG, like from your college, and then they're gonna explain like what the industry is like. you can really have access to this kind of industry.
No, yes, and then hearing it, or rather reading it from your perspective, I think it's your editor in Japan. I think she was on target when she said to write it in a feminist point of view.
I feel like some parts are more, I'm being more playful or being kind of comical about it or trying to make more jokes.
Looking back at it now.
Yeah, definitely. I was definitely thinking about fans of JB. So yeah, more like with heart, kind of like, trying to be more cute. But then later on, I got more serious, so kind of hard to find a balance for me.
No, yeah, I did feel that when reading at least the English version of your book. There are some parts where it is comical, some parts where I can feel your frustrations with certain things that happen. With the English version of the book, aside from the translations, what would you say was the most difficult part about publishing it here in the West?
As a Japan native, like I didn't know what should be the basic knowledge, like what would be good knowledge, like for somebody who has no idea what JB is, or even when they are fans of some Japanese culture, like what's their image of a JB? Like I don't know, because I'm growing up in Japan, you kind of have a vague idea about what the industry is, or like I think about they must be like who's behind it, or I have that image, like everyone kind of has that image, like it's kind of shady industry. I don't know what people outside of Japan thinks of the industry, like what kind of fantasy they have. So I think most of them are like, oh, why are they always wearing pixel panties? It's probably the main thing. Like different knows. It's like, you can't smoke marijuana in Japan. Like it's kind of the same thing. Yeah, I didn't know what was their basic questions. So I had to like kind of let editor handle it, like what parts they wanted to cut or add more.
In your English version of the book, there's not other things that the Japanese version has?
Yes. Some part, like the editor said, like, oh, that's like not really necessary for English audience. Like that's too much in detail. Thing. Or when I talk about the salary system, the tax system is different here. So I guess we don't have to talk about that in detail, something like that.
Right. Okay. I see. So now the whole thing made it just okay. How did the marketing go into the book here in the West?
Oh, I think I'm not sure about the entire sales, but I think the ranking like number one in like some kind of category. So I think it's been good.
Congratulations, by the way. Again, since our last interview, your goal was to publish a book, and here we are with your book right in front of us. And it's it's a huge milestone for you, of course. Moving away from the book, moving away from the industry, of course. Cosplaying, that's something that you've been doing extensively. Yes. How's that going out for you?
Oh, it's a passion project. Well, I'm definitely enjoying it. I like looking different like each day. Like it's a good change of pace for myself, and also I feel like fans enjoy that too. Like whenever we recognize the same character, like it's a great conversational starter, especially like somewhere like here, like anime convention. Everybody knows, like at least somebody knows the character. I really like the vibe. Like it's a good way to get along with each other.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but right now you're cosplaying Supersonic.
Yeah, well, it's classic. I have done Supersonico more than several times. It's just everyone knows Sonico, and Sonico has like a different outfit, so it's nice to play along.
To date, what has been the most difficult cosplay you've done?
Oh, okay. For some costumes, I cannot wear to convention because there are too many parts and they're gonna fall off. So for conventions, it has to be something comfortable or stretchy. And I don't like having long hair as a wig because I have short hair. So like whenever I was eating bento box from Okamoto Kitchen earlier, like in the air, and then,
I know, believe me, yes.
Believe me. It's very stressful. But I try to have like a different hair cutter, different eye cutter. I want to look different each day for convention. What's difficult? I'll say Darien the Frank's 02 cosplay that I custom ordered, and it's like very fitting to the body. It was expensive too. You have to take off the entire thing to go dehydrate in the bathroom. So like I hope there was a zipper around the crotch, but I should have asked that. But I should have asked. But you have to take off the entire suit. It's a bodysuit. And also
it was that type of cosplay. Then
it's a headset. To use. So I was like, oh damn, it was really tough. I wore that to a convention, and of course, I did go to the bathroom only one time. That was tough. I have to ask a cleaning lady in the bathroom to zip me up. That must have been awkward.
do you do your own cosplays, or do you custom order them, or
I
is it
custom order. Mostly custom order. I don't believe in my talent regarding like sewing, or I'm not dexterous, but I have ideas. I have vision. So I always like tell people who can actually make that happen to like, I want something like this.
So I can't do it, but I have a vision.
Yes. Like I cannot make music, but I have ideas. Like, oh, this scarves too is also, I have design, but because like I'm not a designer. So I have like, I want something like this. I want like a heart in a cow pattern, and I want something smooth, and like I want pocket, and I explain everything. And then they make it.
A cosplay with pockets, that's something a must.
Definitely.
I hate when a cosplay does not have pockets. Where can you put things? There's nowhere to...
I understand.
Before we end this interview, because we're almost coming close to the end of the interview, is there anything else you'd like to say to our audience? Something that readers might actually want to understand from the book, or anything else you want to say?
Yeah. Well, I think I only had like one panel with Q&A session. I was hoping to actually like talk more in the book in English, because I kind of omitted some names or some stories in Japanese book, because I knew people in the industry was going to read. So I, on purpose, avoided talking about some, like, one day this director got arrested, or one day like this actor like left and like, stole all the money, like that kind of scandal things. I avoided like talking about it too deeply, because like they know all the names, right? They can guess the names, even fans can guess the names. So I thought it shouldn't be like, I didn't want to cause any scandals. So yeah, in English, I guess they don't really know the names or directors. So I wanted to actually talk more about what I couldn't put in the book. So yeah, I hope more interviews or more panels could be fun. Yeah, I have a lot to talk about.
I mean, you have a whole book out.
Yes.
Are we expecting another book?
Probably not about industry. I guess it's pretty much done, and maybe more about the talk if they have any questions about the book, or they have more questions, because I'm not currently in the industry or talk to anybody from the industry, so I don't know what's going on right now. I definitely want to write a book in Japanese about studying English, but there are a lot of books to study English through anime, or like learn English from Gundam lines, Gundam quotes. Maybe like learn English through like a dirty words or something like that. Something interesting. Yeah.
Which is not a bad idea, because if you learn English, if you learn any bad words in any language, I think it's a good idea, just because you'd know if someone's making fun of you in that language, because you already learned the bad words in those languages.
And if you're interested in a topic, then you remember, like, if you cannot just remember all the grammar and syntax, because it's just boring. But like when you say like, well, in English, you say first base, second base, third base, and home run regarding sex, right? We use ABC in Japanese somehow. Yeah, we use alphabet, and we don't have third base somehow. And so like it's like all those like subtle differences. Like, oh, maybe like the order of sex might not be like important to Japanese people. Like it's just the kind of interesting knowledge, the culture difference, the amusing itself.
That's very interesting. So that's a difference between here and there, then.
Yeah, exactly. Or like grammar and syntax, the time tense is really too subtle sometimes for non-English speakers. Like, what's the difference between like a past, present, and present tense?
Oh, present tense, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so I can bring up topic like, oh, if they ask like, do you use condom? Meaning like it's habitual thing. It's because present tense. But if you say, are you using condom? It's like, it's actually happening right now, like the verb and ing. So you're just asking if he or she is trying to use a condom now, but you don't know if they actually use occasionally. So you don't know what's going to happen next time or next time. So you can actually judge the person's behavior based on the tense they use. So that kind of example might be interesting and easy to understand, like, oh, that's the difference between those tense. Even though the topic is kind of like a dirty stuff, yeah, like it's easier that like, when you say like I go to school, then like you go to school every day, or like, I'm going to school, meaning you're just going to school. Like, it's kind of boring.
No, yeah.
Just make it more playful and fun. I think that would be interesting. So I want to write a book about that.
Oh, cool. Sounds interesting. So that would be your second book, if anything.
Hopefully, yeah.
For those who are currently reading the book, what do you want readers to get from the book itself, like the message in English?
I think they're all interested in the industry or the culture in Japan. So yeah, I appreciate it. They take time to learn this different culture. If they can find it informative, I really appreciate that. It's not just a one side. Even I feel like the editor was trying to probably get me to kind of hate on the industry a little bit or to criticize the industry. And yeah, I know there is a room to grow in any industry, but at the same time, I'm not trying to like hate on the industry. It's just, well, I have been a journalist myself. I have been working I used to work at a newspaper company as a reporter, just wanted to just organize my experience and thoughts. I was not trying to be either negative or positive about it, just being
tell your experience.
Yeah, exactly. So I hope they get that. Like, I don't want readers, to get angry or get sad for me. Just if they can be kind of neutral and just be amused by the content, that'd be great.
Thank you so much, Kaho.
Thank you. Thank you.
And of course, thank you so much, you guys, for listening and watching this awesome interview. But don't go anywhere just yet. Do you guys want to win a Shikishi board signed by Kaho Shibuya? Of course you do. So listen up. All you have to do in order to win a signed Shikishi board by Kaho Shibuya is subscribe to our channel. That's it. It's simple as that. One random winner will be chosen to receive an autographed Shikishi board signed by cosplayer and author Kaho Shibuya. Best of luck to all of you guys, but the fun is not over yet. Go ahead and check out our second interview featuring voice actor Edward Bosco, the voice of Alistair from the Hazbin Hotel pilot episode. Listen as Edward revisits his time voicing Alistair in the pilot episode and why he didn't quite make the cut for the upcoming series. Ever wondered what was the hardest part about voicing Alistair? Well, we got you. All that and more in our second interview, so what are you guys waiting for? Go ahead and click now. I'll see you guys over there.